I'm so excited. I'm actually here with Brittany Butler today, and she is a mom of 4 kids currently. She has 3, but she picked up another little one. What happened? How did that happen?
So we had been, my husband and I had been, sort of toying around with the idea, not toying around, just thinking about the idea of fostering and when would be a good time for our family and our kids. And so finally we went through the process, just finished in March, and we got our first placement before we finished the class. We had all our stuff done, so we got our last placement, and so he is currently 2 months old. So.
Wow, so she's a 2-month-old in the house, and then how old are your other ones?
So my oldest Kai, he is 6, Emery is 5, Aria is 2.5, and baby Lee is 2 months. So,
wow, so literally she is in the preschool world, and she has 4 inside of the preschool world. So I really can't wait to hear about what are some fun things that you guys have done over quarantine.
So my kids are loving dance parties. Like, I know it seems silly, we didn't really do the dance party thing.
Yes.
But like we get Alexa on, and the kids know how to talk to her. So they're picking their songs. Toby Mac is on like repeat in my house.
Yeah, girl.
He's like, high energy.
Yes.
And mostly just like hiking kind of stuff too. There's like fun apps to like find trails nearby. So just trying to get out a little bit. Get some sun.
Good. I think we all need that vitamin D, like we ourselves feel like we're trapped up, but sometimes you can feel it inside of your kids too, right? As much as content they are as to be at home, sometimes you can feel like the restlessness inside of them a little bit too, right?
Yep.
Totally. So what are some things that you started in quarantine that you're like, hey, I really think that we need to continue doing that even after quarantine?
Yes. So the hard thing about being in quarantine is that you sort of run out of options of like, at least in my house, we run out of, I don't want to color anymore, or I don't want to build with this, or I don't want to race Hot Wheels anymore.
Anybody feel that? That's a real thing.
Like, puzzles, you can only do so many puzzles, you can only do so many like things, and so when we run out of these options, my kids like the video games, and so we used to have kind of pretty strict guidelines on like when they could have screen time and they could play things, and so one of the things we just kind of have like, we have kind of like TV tokens, and so they can kind of like, it's fun for them, it's kind of like a little.
How do they earn that?
So they earn them, they have chores that they do,
Okay.
Okay, I need to pick up my room.
Perfect.
Some of it's like self-care stuff, like did you brush your teeth? Like, did you get dressed today? Are we in last night's jammies? So, because that's quarantine life, right?
Yeah,
like, we gotta
so
get dressed.
true.
So
true.
They can earn like, 10 minutes at a time or this, and then they can like spend it, and they know how much they have left. They can see like, I only have this much time left. Okay, let me think about one.
And they can decide when they want to use it then too, right?
Yes.
Is that part of it?
Yes. So they can tell, and they think about it. Sometimes like my 5-year-old will go, oh, I have 3 left. I'll wait. I'll go find something to do. So they get creative with
That's so cool.
what they want to do.
It's got to be like part of their personality too, right? I could see one of my kids literally just using them up whenever they got them. You know what I mean?
That happened. Day one that happened. They're like, what?
And then I could totally see some of my other kids like, they're my savers, right? So they're like, I'm going to save these for this amount of time. And then the other one who uses them all is like, why do they have so many? And you've got to explain, like,
yes,
you save them, right?
Yes.
And that's something you can totally continue after quarantine.
Yes.
Like, that is something that now you've established during quarantine. And you can say, okay, even no matter what it looks like on the other side of this, this is something that our family has established, and we're going to just keep on doing that. To be honest, on the other side of this, there are some hard things that we have had to adjust to, that we've had to learn how to deal with. So what are some of those things for you, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, this thing for us during quarantine is that everybody's routines were just dumped in the trash. Yeah. And so now, daddy's home more, and daddy's not, when daddy comes home and has more days. And things like not being able to get what groceries we wanted at the store kind of changed our meal prepping. Like everything sort of that we can count on, that consistency that my kids like and that they could go to, was flipped. So every day it was kind of like, my kids wake up, well, what are we doing? Well, then what? Well, then what? Well, then, like, what's next? And a lot of it's, we can't go anywhere, we can't, the parks are closed, this is closed. And so it was really hard, sort of just, hey, today looks a lot like yesterday, and we're gonna be in the house, or we're gonna go in the backyard, but that's about as far as we can go.
Sometimes even like our marriage can get hard, right? Like now, instead of daddy being home this amount of time, daddy's home this amount of time. And so marriage is hard the way it is. I mean, I think that all of us can relate to that. Like, it takes work. if you've been married for a certain amount of time, it has taken both of you two working together to make sure that that works well,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
And so you were telling me something that you've intentionally started to do, which I think is just amazing. Could you share that with us?
Yeah. So my husband is now working like on 3 days, off 2 weeks, and so that's not our
Yes.
normal work schedule, obviously. So just trying to, co-parent now with him being home more has been different because mommy parents differently than daddy, and that's fine. But the kids have come to expect how sort of I parent, and so sometimes there's this sort of clash. Of, mommy does it this way, or something as simple as, well, I don't like my crust.
Yes.
Daddy says eat the crust, and mommy cuts the crust off. So now there's a whole thing.
And it's just little things,
Just
right, that
little
add up. And it's not
small
like anything that's gonna end your marriage tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
But it's just like little things that just rub, like sandpaper,
For
you
sure.
know?
And so what I find myself feeling is just sort of like this stress of like feeling like my kids want it one way and my husband wants it a different way and I parent differently, and so everybody's sort of just trying to adjust to the rub, Now
Yes.
things are different.
Yes.
And I intentionally made myself start reading this book about praying blessings over your husband, because I sort of had this, I didn't even realize, like this in the back of my head, just sort of these thoughts, and he's just like, oh, you did it this way and that caused this meltdown, and now I'm kind of like, and so at least this way now I'm thinking good things for my husband and thinking positive things and blessings over his head, so that I'm not carrying around that sort of that stress, or sort of that maybe anger. I don't know if anger is the word, but just this, it's hard,
It is hard.
and sometimes feeling like you're making this harder for me, like let me
Yes.
just do it, or maybe let's just do it my way. And so instead of sort of carrying that all around, I'm thinking positive things. So like my husband leaves and he comes home, and I haven't been stewing all day in that, that place of like, this is hard. or
Yeah.
whatever. And so it's been helpful.
Yeah.
It's been, it's still hard. Like it's still
Yeah.
everybody being at home all the time
Exactly.
is still hard, but
Exactly. But if we can make those little switches, I think that's when like things really, it's almost like magic. I hate even saying that, but it's almost like that. Like when you decide, okay, I'm gonna make this choice for myself, it's something that changes inside of you that maybe your circumstances don't change, but you change through it.
Yes.
And there's this really cool thing that I read in a devotional that I was reading, and it was literally said, God doesn't always change our circumstances, but he brings us through them.
Yes.
And I think that is what you are doing so well right now, is you're understanding our circumstances aren't changing, right? Like we can't bring our kids certain places, our husband's not gonna be going to work again or like as often anymore. But what you're choosing to do is you're saying, I'm gonna allow God to work through me and help me through these circumstances that I'm with. So it has been just a joy to listen to what you are doing during quarantine and what your kids are doing in quarantine. And you are a fabulous mother. I am so lucky to be around you. So I hope that you have a great day, and thanks again